everybody, welcome back. It's starting to become the time of the year where it's starting to get colder, fewer people are out, and there are just a few number of adventurers out there still wanting to brave the cold to enjoy the outdoors. So I'm going to give you a quick rig update as well as talk about some of the gear that I've been using as well as some of the mods and gear I have in mind for the future. Alright, so for those of you who've been following my channel for a while, I'm going to go over some things you may have already seen, but I am going to definitely include some of the updates. But let's just go over a quick brief walk around. So I do have the rigid Radiance LED light bars at the bottom, the one with the green backlight. I have that in white so that in forest roads where it's super dark, there's no street lights or anything like that, that helps light the road even better. As far as my pods, I do have the rigid amber light pods. Now those ones are for snowy, dusty, foggy conditions, and they've definitely come in handy in some of my most recent trips. Now in this upcoming season, I am anticipating a lot of fog and a lot of snow, and in those environments I definitely do want to shine that up, not only to cut through the snow and potential blizzard at night, including the fog, but also as well as if I'm driving in foggy environments and snowy environments, I want to keep that on so that in the forest roads other drivers could see me coming their way and behind them. Now of course, you know my tires are 33-inch tires. I do have the Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. I heard they're really good in snow, so that is one of the main reasons why I got them, for snow performance. I am looking to test them out for the first time this coming winter, and I will keep you posted on that as well. Now for my camp area lighting, I do use the Claymore lighting from Big Ten Outdoors. As you guys may know, I partnered up with them, and this is one of the reasons why, because this product is fantastic. I have the Ultra Plus as well as, that's the Ultra 2, as well as the 3-phase. Now, if you've seen reviews online about these lights, it's great because they have multiple color temperature modes. So we got the white, we have the warm, and we have the hybrid. And you can tilt them out. Of course, you have the magnet over here which holds them in place. And as far as the 3-phase, I do have them on a carabiner over here and hang them up on one of these hooks on the ikamper rooftop tent. I'm not going to be the only person to attest to the quality of these. These are great for so many different reasons. One, it's because they're rechargeable, so you don't have to worry about replacing batteries or hook them up to a power source when you're trying to use them. Second, they are waterproof, so I've used this already in the rain, as you guys may know if you follow me for a while, and in the snow, can continuously be poured on and still functions fine. And last but not least, one of the other functions I really love about this is that this battery, it lasts forever. Anyone, if you ask who've ever used this, they'll let you know that the batteries on these last for a very long time. Another benefit of these is that they also act like power banks, so you can charge your cell phones, headlamps, whatever rechargeable device through these as power banks as well. So usually at nighttime, if I have those two lights light up, then my camp is pretty good around my tent. The thing that's great about this also beneficially is they do light this area, so it's safe if you need to climb up to the ladder, get to your tent. This might not be as much of an issue in the winter as it is on other seasons throughout the year, but sometimes there are rat problems where, you know, mice will come up into your hood, under the hood, and chew through the wiring. As you know, like Toyotas, they have wire covers that are made out of soy-based products, so you know, it's hungry rats will eat right through that, or mice. So if you have your campsite lit, the area lit, those critters won't really come by and they won't come near. So because of the strong lighting performance of this light, if you are just going to use them for a weekend, you can actually just keep them on all night for safety reasons and as well as critter reasons. Now as far as the rooftop tent, of course I have the ikamper, and it's been great. I consider it a huge upgrade. I used to have a soft top rooftop tent, and now I've moved on to this hard shell one. One of the big benefits of something like this is the fact that it is so easy to set up and take down. Whereas my previous tent, I had to take out the rods, fold it up, make sure everything was tucked in, and then get the rooftop tent cover. And sure, that was something that has to be done and it's part of the process, but you know, if you can cut down the time and make the process easier, why not? So for this, all I have to do is just fold that up and then close the hard shell, and that's it. So it's much more improved. Definitely important, I believe, when you're camping in adverse weather. If it's snowing or raining, the last thing you want to do is take too much time setting up or breaking down your tent. Now, like I said, I haven't been able to use this in full-on heavy snow yet, and I am planning to do that soon enough. I'm anticipating it this season, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, because you're gonna be in for a ride with me on that as well. So of course I do have review videos in regards to this tent. Right now what I wanted to show you was my setup inside. So I did have a lot of questions, people asking me if they can fit bedding inside this tent. Now based on my experience, what we did is we put 2 full-size pillows and then we put 2 down top quilts on there. I believe you can also put 2 down sleeping bags. If you put synthetic sleeping bags, those are thicker, so I don't think they will fit. But based on our use, our 2 down top quilts or 2 down sleeping bags plus 2 full-size pillows, we've been able to close the lid with no problem. But you definitely got to make sure it's pushed to the back this way. Now also, if you followed us on our previous trips where we've camped in very cold temperature, we do have an inner insulator inside, insulation layer. We do definitely use that, and the benefit of using the insulation layer is that you don't have condensation. Well, we didn't have condensation anyways. Typically, if you want to reduce condensation in your tent, you have to make sure it's well ventilated, keep the mesh open and things like that. But when you're sleeping in really frigid cold, sometimes you don't want to have those things open because it's just going to bring in so much cold draft into the tent. What we did is we just close it all up, put up the insulation layer, and we still don't have condensation. So that's one thing to think about. Now coming around back, I want to introduce you guys, for those of you who don't know about it yet, this is the decked drawer system. I love this system. Of course, it's a game changer for me. As far as organization goes, it is top notch. I do have a separate video for the installation and my first initial impression of this. So I'll link that video up here, the top right, as well as I am planning to do a 6-month review on this. So stay tuned for that as well. Also, pardon the mess, you guys. Of course, we went off-roading, camping, overlanding, all that stuff. It's not the cleanest sport, but it is definitely fun. I am planning to get this all cleaned up at some point, but right now we just camped a few nights ago, so I haven't gotten a chance to clean that up yet. So with that said, let me tell you how I've organized it so far. This is still organization in progress, and the way I'm going to put it together will change over time. So let's go and give you guys a tour inside. Now it will come out up to here, but it does go in further deep inside. So way in the back, I have additional tools in there, like I have a power drill, I have extension cord, random things like that. And then in here I keep miscellaneous tools, miscellaneous objects. This case is actually waterproof. There's a seal, weather seal around it, around the lid, so it keeps everything in here pretty dry. As well as this, I also got additional tools in here. Got my wrench, got my ratchet, got my sockets, everything like that in here as well. It's definitely very rugged. And I love this because you can hold up to 200 pounds in each shelf. This, of course, you guys showed you this. This is like a hot water bottle given to us by Professor G. One of the ways we'll carry this, because just in case if it gets really cold one night, what you can do is you can fill this with hot water and you can sneak this inside your sleeping bag, and it'll keep your inside of your sleeping bag warm for about 6 to 8 hours. And then of course I got paper towel. Katie likes string lights, so we bought these string lights just to hang up and stuff once in a while. We haven't really used it too much yet, but that's a plan, just to, you know, make the area more homey. Got a emergency blanket, contractor bag, of course, for the trasharoo that I have. I definitely want to always use contractor bags instead of just like those hefty bags. So pro tip for you guys, when you're going out, try to get contractor bags, because these don't rip as easily. So I know some of you guys like to drink, you know, beer from bottles, or you guys use cans. You fold cans and they get sharp, things like that. You don't want the trash to be too heavy or sharp in a regular trash bag, but in this it's perfectly fine. I've rarely had it rip. And then I got these porta potty chemicals. That's just for like, we do have a porta potty bucket right over there with a liner, so we mix that in, line the inside of the bucket with these little bags. Just slide that down, goodbye. And the other one. Now on this side, I'll just have like the ikamper gear, the gear rack over there, the shoe rack for ikamper. I'll keep that in there, and then I'll carry my Claymore light cases in here. The Claymore lights, they come with cases, so you can store them away and not have them like just bumping around everywhere. So I'll keep them in here. And then I also have just like miscellaneous camp stuff. I got like axe, saw, I got my Crazy Beaver spork shovel in here. Right there, as you can see, it goes all the way back there. And some gloves and miscellaneous tools like that, just for processing and camp chores and things like that. Close that. And then of course the deck system comes with 4-corner ammo cans, 2 in the back, 2 in the front, and I'll keep things like used propane bottles or half empty, half filled propane bottles and store them in there. Now in between the rack and the top of the bed, as you can see, it goes right above the wheel well, so it goes kind of flush right there. I carry things like my camp chair, the bucket, of course, the portable. That's the tent. It's a privacy tent that you can use to pitch up to change or use the potty in. And then just random other small things like the table. And then of course I got totes. And the totes will carry things like, you know, the camp stove, will carry Mustard Buddy heater, will carry extra propane tanks, things like that. And then I just strap them down with the ratchet straps. And then of course I got recovery gear in there as well. So tow hooks, shackles, tow ropes, all that stuff is inside the totes. And of course I got the trash-roo, carry all the trash in there. I don't like to throw trash into the bed of the truck. So like I said, we just got back from camp. We didn't really get the chance to take everything out and unload, so please forgive the mess. So what I've been doing right now, how we've been doing this is we have 2 levels here, and I carry the water filter / 4-gallon water bucket, and that's of course the Hydro Blue. And that's been great so far. But the thing is, now for winter, I'm going to keep this inside the truck. Usually what I'll do is I'll just strap it out here, but the reason why we're keeping it inside is because when we go into the colder environments, we definitely want to prevent that from freezing. One of them, you know, of course you don't want your jug of water to freeze, but another reason is because it has a filter in there. So we usually use it to put whatever water and filter it out so we can drink wherever we go. But the filters, the water filters, you don't want them to freeze or they will be damaged, and we do not want that to get damaged. So yeah, we keep it in the cab. And the ice chest, unfortunately, the way this rack, the height of the rack on top of the deck, it's too low, so I cannot fit the cooler in there. So we are using this cooler. Now this cooler is Sport Near. This was sent to me over for testing and review, and so far basically my conclusion is 2 things. One, it does work as far as keeping your stuff cold. I put a bag of ice in there. It is 25 quarts, so it's not the biggest space, but there's just enough space that we found for a weekend. While I have this here with you guys, let me tell you the pros and cons I've noticed with this cooler. The pro is that it's been able to keep ice in ice form for about 3 days, and then you start to see it melt. But compared to the other coolers I've had before in a higher price range, it's performed much better. It's definitely rugged and heavy duty. It's very thick. And it also comes with a little thermometer over here. Now this thermometer, it's connected to the inside so that you can see what the temperature is on the inside from the outside. So I've been using it so far for a few months and it's been pretty good. I like it. It gets the job done for what we need a cooler to do, which is just to keep our food cold during our trip. But for someone who does not want to dish out a ton of money, you know, at least $500 for a fridge, and then, you know, for a fridge, you would have to hook it up to power. If you're at camp, then you would need to get a second battery or another power supply or something like that. All these additional things that you would need. If you just want to keep it simple, go to camp for a weekend and keep your food cold, I would suggest that this is a good alternative. Now, some of the cons I noticed is that there were a couple of times where the temperature seemed a little off. The thermometer would sometimes state warmer temperature or colder temperature than what I believed it to be inside. Like it was cold inside with the ice staying cold, but the temperature on the thermometer sometimes showed temperatures into like the 60s or something like that, which is weird, but it doesn't happen all the time. The other thing is that this cooler is pretty heavy, so just by itself empty, it is not a lightweight cooler. So that is something to keep in mind. But that's what we've been using so far. It may change over time. We might get a fridge, who knows, but for the time being, this gets the job done. Now on the other side of the truck, see, I told you this is gonna be messy. We got Bernie's bed over there. Since we have a bigger center console, we are able to get a little dog bed and put it in between us so that Bernie can chill with us in the middle. That is a sleeping bag that I'm in the phase of testing right now. It's a freaking awesome 900 fill bag. And what's crazy about it is it has a very soft inside, and then the outside lining is a different material that's slightly thicker to help you prevent moisture from getting inside. So it's a very interesting bag, and I am going to talk about it more in the future, but that is a bag in testing process. Of course, this is the insulator that comes with the ikamper. It comes in a package like this, like in a bag, so we can unzip this and put the insulation on up above. My camera bag. Now the power supply I'm using is the Jackery 500. Now Jackery has sent this over to me for review. Now they just sent this along with the 100-watt solar panel as well. And both of them I've used it just recently on a meetup trip to Mount Shasta, and they've performed decently. I've also used just the power bank by itself at full charge. On a 2-night trip, I would have more than about 50% of the battery left. And that is with me recharging my drone battery, my camera battery, my cell phone over and over again. So it's been really good. It's still currently the testing phase, but so far it's performed magnificently. Compared to, I've had other 500-watt power banks before, and I would say this is much, compared to those, relatively lighter. It does seem very rugged, and I like the form factor of it. Now, something that is missing that I wish this would have is a USB-C port. Now, in the near future, a couple of things I am planning to do on this is to add a bumper with a winch. I do definitely want to have an upgrade to my recovery gear in the front, as well as added protection. And of course, a common question that I get is, when am I going to lift this thing? So, I do have plans for a lift. Not anytime soon right now, but I do want to do it sometime early next year. I am planning to get a lift, as well as put this on a higher up, on a little higher rack, potentially. Now that is all going to happen once I move and I'm able to have more clearance in my garage. So that is something that you will see in an upcoming video down the line, sometime early next year. This setup has been freaking amazing. I love it so far. It's haven't gotten stuck yet. Of course, winter is the perfect time to get stuck if you're going to get stuck anywhere, and I am looking forward to testing it out as well. I will keep you guys in the loop as far as any changes to my sleep system, any performance reviews on the ikamper, decked, lights, everything on the truck. So that concludes the walk around of the rig for so far, and what I've done to anticipate the winter camping. Alright, so if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the section below. If you like this video, please leave a like. So be safe, take care, and I'll see you guys next time.
Se arregla con dinero. Money world, si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar, un lugar para trabajar, y si no hay para emigrar. Todo money, money, todo el dinero. Solo un par de gente se lleva el botín.